An Iranian court has ordered the execution of 7 anti-government protesters. It's part of a crackdown against demonstrations that have spread across the country over the past 6 weeks. The protests erupted after the death of 22-year-old Mahsa Amini. She died while being held by the country's so-called morality police for violating the government's dress code. Human rights groups say over 200 people have died so far in the unrest. CBS News foreign correspondent Roxana Saberi joins us now in studio for more. Roxana, welcome. It's really good to see you. This is such an important story that has gotten such global attention. We know that more than 1,000 protesters have been arrested in Tehran alone. You recently spoke with a friend of a dissident rapper who was jailed. What more can you tell us about, that particular situation?
Yeah, Elaine, well, to give you a little bit of context, today the UN Special Rapporteur on the situation of human rights in Iran said that actually more than 14,000 people have been detained since the protests began in mid-September. So it's a massive amount. And among them, there are at least 50 journalists, according to the Committee to Protect Journalists. We know there are a lot of protesters, there are activists. And we also know that there are actors and musicians, at least 24, who have been detained, according to this group, human rights activists in Iran. And one of those musicians is the one you just asked me about, this dissident rapper named Tumaj Salehi. He was detained on Saturday, according to his friends. Now, this guy was really outspoken. I was so surprised. He was very courageous, you could say. He posted videos online on his social media platforms. One was a music video of him rapping, calling out dictatorship and in support of freedom. He also posted a video of himself actually protesting and chanting, "We don't want spectators, come join us." So I spoke to one of his friends today who said that he's being held in a prison, that he's being tortured, that his family is very worried for him. And she's afraid that the regime is going to make him out to be like a leader of protests, so it could accuse him of a more severe crime. But she said he's not a leader of protests. He's simply a rapper, and like other rappers, he was using his art form to critique what he saw was wrong in society. So yes, definitely his friends and his family are very worried about him. And we have to see, actually, IRNA, the state-run news agency in Iran, put out a video saying it was him making a confession saying, "I made a mistake." But his friends say, if that was him, it was a forced confession.
I mean, it raises the question, you used the word courageous. Obviously, he must have known there would be some kind of consequence to speaking out in that way, very directly and very forcefully, it sounds like.
Yeah, he did. In fact, he told his friend, the one I spoke with, that, if something happens to me, carry on. Keep posting about the protests.
He knew something.
Yes, he knew. Yeah, he was prepared.
So, as we mentioned earlier, an Iranian court has ordered 7 anti-government protesters to be executed. What are the trials for these sentences typically like? Because, when we hear about justice, obviously, in a place like Iran, seeing what we've been seeing with these demonstrators, with the forces there, one can only imagine what that actual process looks like.
Yeah, so we know that the trials come after a period of detention during which the detainees often are held incommunicado or with very little communication with the outside world, with their families, and go through intense interrogations and without access or without appropriate access to an attorney. Now, these trials that we've been hearing about, they started on October 30th, which would have been Sunday, and there were at least 6 people who were put on trial, charged with things like waging war and corruption of the earth, or corruption on earth, which can both lead to the death penalty. So they're very serious charges, of course. And they are supposedly public trials, but, oftentimes the family members aren't allowed in. The detainees aren't allowed to have the attorneys of their choice. There's reporters, no, not independent media, there's state-run media. And they face these accusations, and oftentimes evidence will be presented to them, but they can't see the evidence, or it might be fabricated evidence. They may have been forced to make confessions, which are, they'll say are false confessions, but the confessions are being used against them as evidence. Also, they might be presented with witness testimony, but not be able to cross-examine the witnesses. Now, we know this from previous trials in the Islamic Republic of Iran. This trial on Sunday was overseen by a hardline judge called Judge Salavati. And one of the mothers of the defendants who has been sentenced to death said that his attorney wasn't allowed to represent him. And she said in a video posted online, "Is this Islamic justice?"
So against this backdrop, we know that the United Nations had an informal session on the situation going on in Iran. What did we actually learn from that meeting?
Yeah, so that was today. Again, the UN Special Rapporteur on Human Rights in Iran said because there's not a domestic system of accountability in Iran, that there needs to be some kind of an international mechanism to hold Iran accountable for what he called its human rights violations. We also heard from the 2003 Iranian Nobel Peace Prize winner Shirin Ebadi and the activist and actress Nazanin Boniadi, who spoke about the human rights violations in Iran. Also today, because the session was co-hosted by the United States, the Vice President Kamala Harris said the U.S. is going to try to remove Iran from the UN Commission on the Status of Women. So that commission is supposed to promote gender equality, and Iran has just begun its first of 4 years of its term. But the Iranian UN representative came back and said, you guys are interfering in our internal affairs. And he actually said that the Iranian law enforcement officers are showing restraint.
That is incredible, considering what we've seen, which I know you have seen a lot of. As an Iranian American, you have many connections. And I know you're getting these social media videos, all showing the tremendous courage under fire, literally, in all areas of Iran, it looks like, where people are rising up. We'll certainly continue to follow it. Roxana Saberi. Roxana, before we let you go really quickly, if people want to help, what can they do? Because I know there are people watching who have seen these demonstrations carried out by many people, especially when you see images of girls, young girls. It is so striking to see them standing up in defiance against this authoritarian regime. What is it that people here in this country can do to help?
Yeah, they're standing up against guns and batons, and many of them have been losing their lives. So when I talk to Iranians inside Iran, the main thing they tell me is they want their voices to be heard. They don't want to be forgotten. They want these few videos that they're able to get out, considering the internet restrictions, to be shared. One woman said to me, "We just want you to be our voices, for everyone to hear our voices and help us in any way they can."
Such a difficult situation, Roxana Saberi. Roxana, thank you so much.
You're welcome.